Layoffs in India's online education space continue. Vedantu, that turned into a unicorn in September last year, has sacked over 600 employees this month.
Unacademy, India's second largest edtech firm after Byju, has reportedly laid off 1,000 employees over the past few weeks in a cost-cutting drive.
With COVID tailwinds receding, schools and offline models opening up, the hyper-growth of 9x, which Vedantu experienced during the last 2 years, will also get moderated.
In the quest for hyper-growth, Indian edtech companies have moved fast, disrupting the education sector.
Hi everybody! In the past few months, you must have seen a ton of people being laid off from the edtech industry of India. What was once a booming industry with every other startup being valued at $1 billion valuation, now it almost looks like the doomsday for the edtech industry of India. While on one side, mega brands like Unacademy laid off 600 people and Byju's laid off 800 employees, on the other side, companies like Lido and Udayy have shut down in spite of raising millions of dollars in funding. So the question over here is, how did it suddenly happen that the edtech industry of India went from being a goldmine to a graveyard of startups? What kind of startups will survive this edtech crash? And most importantly, as students of business, what are the most important lessons that we need to learn from the upcoming edtech crash of India? This video is brought to you by goldmine, but more on this at the end of the video. To understand the root cause of this crash, we first have to understand the mathematics behind the boom of edtech in India and why exactly did the edtech industry of India suddenly become $1 billion market. So let's draw a comparison between physical institute versus a digital institute and try to understand the financials of both these companies. For this, let's take the classic example of our IIT coaching. Let's say Mr. Chadda is an IITian who runs a company called Chadda's IIT Factory. This company has only 3 classes, has 50 students in each classroom, 11 standard students come in the morning batch and 12 standard students study in the evening batch. So each year, the net intake is 150 students and paying students are 300. They teach 3 subjects, physics, chemistry and maths. The classes are held for 6 days a week and 3 hours per day. So only one subject is taught per day. Similarly, the teachers teach for 6 hours per day, 3 hours for the morning batch and 3 hours for the evening batch. Now, let's try to understand the financials of this company. The fees according to Pune's nominal standards is 1.5 lakh rupees for a 2-year course, which is 75,000 rupees per year. Now remember, all these numbers are for 2014 and now the prices have shot up. Now, if you do the math for this standard number, your total revenue turns out to be 2.25 crores per year. Now, let's count the expenses. Teacher salary at 1.5 lakh rupees per month for 3 teachers sums up to 54 lakh rupees per year. Rent at 50,000 rupees per month for 3 classrooms sums up to 18 lakh rupees per year. And admin, support staff, study materials, housekeeping and bills combined would be close to 20 lakh rupees. So the total revenue is 2.25 crores and the expenses sum up to 92 lakhs. So the profit is 1.33 crores, right? Wrong. Why? Because one of the major expenses that we did not consider over here is marketing. This is one of the biggest expenses for an IIT coaching center, especially before 2016. Why? Because Facebook and Instagram did not have a humongous mobile user base as they do today. So the only way for you to market your classes would be through conventional marketing methods like billboards, seminars, newspaper ads and TV ads. And this is what made marketing extremely costly for these IIT coaching centers. Because billboards would cost them 50,000 rupees, a front page newspaper ad would cost them between 5 to 7 lakh rupees, and to host a seminar, it's going to cost you another 30 to 40,000 rupees to book a small auditorium of 500 people and that too for a single day. Now obviously, one billboard, one newspaper ad and one seminar won't be effective, right? So merely for repetitive advertisement through these channels, the cost of marketing itself used to shoot up as high as 20 to 30 lakhs just to fill up 150 seats. But the sweet part over here is that you still made 1 crore as your profits. And as you can see from these financials, this is a very capital intensive business wherein you need 70 to 80 lakhs of minimum working capital even if you are a mid-sized coaching center. But this is where, ladies and gentlemen, the Geo wave came in and it revolutionized the way the coaching industry of India functioned. This is when we saw the rise of digital coaching institutes. And the way these people transformed the industry was that instead of renting a classroom and hiring teachers for 1 complete year, they hired the best teachers, paid them 2 months of their salary and got them to record all of their lectures on a camera. So 3 teachers with 2 months of salary would cost you 9 lakh rupees of fixed cost, along with another 2 lakh rupees for your video editing. Now, if you look at the beauty of this model, the moment you have a pre-recorded course, you don't need classrooms, so no rent, no deposit. You do not need a huge admin staff, no peons, and you wouldn't even consume as much electricity. So, the miscellaneous expenses come down from 20 lakhs to less than 5 lakhs. So, capital-wise, this business becomes very, very economical. But at the same time, here are the insane advantages that you got with the online coaching business in 2017. Number 1, your market doesn't have to be restricted to a small radius of 15 to 20 kilometers. Now, you could sell your course all across India to even 10,000 students. All you have to do is bear the fees of hosting your course on a platform, which would cost you not more than 2 to 5 lakhs for the entire year. Number 2, your offering could become extremely customized. You could sell just physics courses for 20,000 rupees, the entire package of PCM for 50,000 rupees, and if a student wants just the pre-recorded course, you could sell it at a base price of 40,000 rupees. Or if they wanted a doubt session, you could charge another 10,000 rupees premium. And even then, the cost of your product would be lower than the cheapest fees of an offline course. And the best part is that you could either pay the teachers on a 10 to 20% commission basis on each sale, or you could get these teachers to spend time in doubt clearing because the conceptual teaching is already done by the pre-recorded course. And last and most importantly, all thanks to internet and Jio, instead of spending 50,000 rupees on a single billboard that barely generates any leads, you could get your video ad to more than 50,000 parents through Facebook ads. Instead of spending 5 lakh rupees on a front page newspaper ad, you could reach 1 million people in your specific target audience with Facebook and Instagram ads. And instead of spending 40,000 rupees to book an auditorium and hope for 400 people to show up, you could spend the same money and get 4,000 people in your free webinar with just a few software subscriptions. And after that, you just need a small sales team to convert these leads that you've generated through Facebook and Instagram ads. And you know guys, we actually consulted a digital marketing company called 1.4 Media to try and understand what exactly was the customer acquisition cost back in 2017 to convert a customer who's going to pay 50,000 rupees for a course. And as it turns out, back in 2017-18, this cost was lesser than 10,000 rupees. As in, you have to spend 10,000 rupees into marketing and sales, and you'll be able to acquire a customer who will be paying you 50,000 rupees as your course fees. And this 10,000 rupees is what you call as customer acquisition cost. Now people note this very carefully because I'll come back to this later. Now coming back to your balance sheet, on top of this profit, taking out another 10% commission for the teacher, you still have 70% in profits. Now although this number is very lucrative, even a 50% profit margin is a very big deal on a scalable digital medium and a huge market like India. So all of this put together, you could sell the same course which is sold for 1.5 lakh rupees by the Chaddas at just 50,000 rupees with live doubt sessions every week held by the teachers themselves. And even if you sell to just 500 students with 25,000 rupees profit per student, that is 1.25 crores in profit straight away. And that too without incurring 75 lakhs of working capital expense that is needed to operate a physical coaching center. Now, although there are many more hurdles in digital marketing also, like targeting, bad ads and bad production, nobody can deny the fact that the profits with the edtech business in 2017-18 was absolutely insane. So to summarize this, edtech back then needed ultra low working capital, was a high profit margin business with practically a limitless potential to scale, and most importantly, the entry barrier to start an edtech business was very less. And this is what led to a gold rush of investors with billions of dollars of funding pouring into every category of edtech like coding, K-12, NEET, IIT-JEE and even UPSC subjects. So now the question over here is, when this was such a huge profit margin business and India is such a huge market, why are these companies going out of business? Why are the investors killing these companies? And why are these companies laying off so many employees? Well, this is where, ladies and gentlemen, the difference between 2017 and 2022 comes in. You see guys, for any business, when the entry barrier goes down, there is an extraordinary increase in the competition. So when course making got cheaper and selling got easier, everybody started shooting videos, everybody used Instagram ads, everybody had a sales team, and most of all, many of these players had $1 million funding. So when this happened, two things happened along with it. Number one, when there were a ton of Instagram ads for the exact same product, the cost per conversion increased drastically. So back then, if you could convert a customer for 10,000 rupees, as the market got more and more crowded, this number would hit 20,000 and even 30,000 rupees. And since a lot of these players got funding, the pricing war started to heat up in 2019. So now, if you had a course for 50,000 rupees, a funded company was willing to offer it at a 5% discount. So suddenly, there was another company that was giving out live sessions at 50,000 rupees with a 20% discount. And soon enough, the cost of the product started to decrease, but the customer acquisition cost kept on increasing. In fact, before 2020, the customer acquisition cost of these edtech companies was somewhere between 20 to 25% of the revenue, as in 10,000 to 13,000 rupees was needed to convert a student who was willing to pay 50,000 rupees. But by 2020, the cost of customer acquisition shot up to 70 to 80% of the revenue. So in 2020, 40,000 rupees was needed to convert a student paying 50,000 rupees. In fact, the customer acquisition cost for an edtech company operating in the K-12 segment varied from 10,000 rupees to 60,000 rupees per student. So you see, the margins started growing thinner and thinner after a certain point, and most of these companies started incurring losses. But this is when the pandemic happened.
This global lockdown has really seen edtech, education technology, explode in a manner that no one could have imagined.
With the coronavirus creating havoc globally, closing down schools, colleges, universities, coaching institutes, and other educational institutions, the education sector is adapting to the change.
And during this time, companies were ready to take up a lot of loss because they knew that this was the time to get the customers habituated to online learning. So again, the edtech industry of India saw more ads, more discount, more freebies, more hiring, more funding, and most importantly, more players joining the market. But as soon as the pandemic faded away, schools and colleges started, and the humongous resources that the edtech companies actually gathered was no longer needed. So obviously, the companies fired the surplus staff, which includes both the teachers and the sales team. So the question over here is the edtech crash finally here? And if at all it's here, who are the players who are going to survive this crash? Now listen to this very, very carefully, people, because there's a very, very important business lesson to be learned over here. You see, in the edtech industry of India, regardless of how big or small a company is, regardless of which category this company actually belongs, you will see that there are three types of players in this space. The first type of player that we have are super brands like Byju and Unacademy, who have made such an exceptional name for themselves that they've kind of achieved top of the mind marketing. And they are now hoping that once a student pays 50,000 rupees and does well in the exams, the parents might spend another 50,000 rupees next to you. So this time, there is no customer acquisition cost associated with this conversion. The second type of players that we have are rich sellers. These are the ones who don't have as much name and recognition as Byju's, but they have $1 million funding to run countless ads on Facebook and Instagram. So these are companies that are advertisement dependent. And then we have the most powerful and the most profitable players in the market, which are personal brands and organically built company brands on social media. And here's where we've got Prashant Dhawan sir and Study IQ for UPSC, Telusko for coding, Aman Dattarwal and Shraddha, and obviously the legendary physicswallah. And these players will always make money. They will always remain profitable, and if they do it right, they could even become bigger than Unacademy and Byju's, and that too without funding. This is because of three reasons. Number one, they have an irreplaceable brand value that separates them from a commoditized edtech market. Number two, they have an incredible distribution channel to get students without running ads. And most importantly, because of the brand that they've built through content, because they've given so much value to their audience, even if they run ads tomorrow, their customer acquisition cost is going to be ultra low. So if Aman Dattarwal runs an ad saying buy this course, he would acquire customers at 1/10 the cost as compared to a random funded edtech company. So if you see, the funded edtech sellers who do not have a content machine are the weakest players in the industry. So even with $1 million funding, these companies could easily go out of business. At the same time, players like Aman Dattarwal and Prashant Dhawan sir, even without funding, they will do exceptionally well in the market. And this is what brings me to the most important part of the episode, and that are the lessons that we need to learn from the remarkable rise, fall, and calibration of the EdTech market of India. Before we move on, I want to thank our partners for this episode, and that is GoldenPie. People, it's not only the EdTech market that is crashing, but also the stock market that is crashing. All the investors that have enjoyed the bull run are now starting to face the brunt of this fall. And during times like these, you need to play it smart and invest your hard-earned money into instruments like bonds, where it gives you stable returns. Previously, only the HNIs had the privilege to invest in such highly quality bonds. But GoldenPie is now making these bonds accessible to retail investors like you and me through user-friendly platforms. GoldenPie is backed by Zerodha and partner with Axis Direct, IIFL Securities and Bajaj Financial Securities Limited. And it acts as a transparent marketplace with the largest range of bonds of all reputed institutions such as NBFCs, banks, PSUs, corporates, etc. The best part is that the minimum investment is just 10,000 rupees in case of NCD IPOs, and currently the Muthoot NCD IPO is live, and you can check it out from the special link in the description. Moving on, the first thing we need to learn is that whenever the entry barrier of a business decreases, it leads to a humongous flooding of players into the market. So either be a first mover in the market like Unacademy or Byju, or be a smart mover like Tell Usko and Aman Dattarwal. Number 2, Instagram and Facebook marketing is reaching its peak, and within some time, even though the cost to Instagram might not increase, the cost of conversions will keep on increasing with time. So soon enough, even if you have the best product in the market, your ads might just get ignored like television ads today. So do not just rely on advertisement, and this is both for EdTech and D2C also, because even there the entry barrier is decreasing. And last and most importantly, no matter how much funding you've got with your company, if you do not build a personal brand for yourself or for your company, you could be out of business in no time, because winter is coming for Facebook and Instagram ads. And at the same time, if you've built a personal brand for yourself, if you've built the superpower to broadcast information to 1 million people, even a $1 billion company can never ever replace you. That's all from my side for today, guys. If you learned something valuable, please make sure to hit the like button in order to make YouTube Baba happy. And for more such insightful business and political case studies, please subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.